Yo, Marcus, low budget wisdom. So we, our society as a whole, the majority of people are so, we are so dogmatically, inclined to worship the left brain way of seeing the world. What does that? What does the left brain way of seeing the world actually mean? Basically, using logic, scientific tools to measure, uh, you know, hard proof, concrete proof, so that we then are able to convince ourselves with all these data and facts and proof to tell ourselves to convince ourselves that okay, this exists. All right. So, you know, example of using hard scientific proof and evidence to prove something is real, okay, is, measuring a cup of water, for example. Okay, water exists because we can see it. We can kind of like measure 100 milliliters of water. Okay, it exists, and drinking it, there's proof that it hydrates our body. But what about the things that we cannot prove with scientific tools, such as love, emotions of different nature, hatred, ego, jealousy, envy, joy, happiness, love? How can we prove their existence? There is currently no scientific tools that can measure how much love that you hold within your heart for certain people, for your pets, whatever. Or there's no yardstick to say that, okay, I have 50 units of hatred towards this person. Okay, I have half of that towards this other person. Okay, I have 100 units of love that I can feel towards my parents. Okay, for my partner, I maybe have 120 units of love, and then mix that with maybe 20 units of irritation, 10 units of jealousy, 5 units of anxiety towards this person. You cannot measure scientifically, right? Emotions. You cannot do that. There's no yardstick. There's no unit measurement of how much love you have, or how spiritually evolved or enlightened I am. Okay, yeah, I donated some money to the homeless today. So does that mean that I increase my spiritual path? I increase my spiritual enlightenment and by 2 units? Okay, I'm working towards this goal. No, you can't do that. So in the world beyond the logical left brain mind, is something that we cannot measure, and it is something that can only be felt through our intuition, through our heart center. It can only be felt through our heart center, our right brain creative centers, right? So my point is, just because we cannot measure certain things, just because certain things don't have a unit measurement or a yardstick for us to cleanly, prove its existence, right? Just because we can't do that for certain things doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The love you feel for pets and parents and certain people or things or smells or memories or emotions, they are not concrete. They are not logically concrete, but it exists. You are the proof. Your feelings of these things are proof that they exist. So the notion that unless proven, it does not exist, that notion is outdated. It is purely the left brain way of perceiving the world. But if we increase our level of consciousness, of our level of awareness of this whole world, we will start to realize the nuances of different energies that surround us all, right? Just like how Nikola Tesla has mentioned, everything is vibration, frequency, and energy, right? So, so watch the intentions behind your actions. The same action can occur, but with different intentions. Some people donate money for the sake of donating money. That's just for the sake of goodwill of the person, right? I donate some money, I donate some food, doesn't matter the amount, but the intention is what matters. Some people may donate the same amount of money or food to the same person, and that person may take it differently because the intention of this second person who donated the money, the same amount of money, may have the intention of wanting to record themselves and post it on YouTube to prove that they are a good person, or even the intention that they hold within themselves. Okay, I want to donate money so that hopefully I can gain good karma. Hopefully I can hasten my journey towards the destination of enlightenment. Hopefully God will see that I am a good person, and so God will bless me with 10 times the amount that I donated, right? The intention is different. So you can't really tell if all we are doing is using the left brain version of our perception to perceive. For the majority of people who are using the left brain version, the logic, they may see that both people donated the same amount of money, and then their logical minds would think, okay, they're both good people. But the only way to discern between the intention of people, the emotional state of being of different people, whether or not this person is trustworthy, even though two people say the same things, they may come from different place, they may radiate a different quality of energy, right? And to the layman who uses logic to see it, that's very dangerous for that person who only uses their logical perception, because both people say the same thing, but they don't have the ability, or they don't have that discernment to use their heart center and their right brain capacity to kind of understand the situation as a whole, to try to discern between their intentions and their quality of energy for what they're saying. So if I am a person who is heart-centered based, then I can tell straight away, okay, even though they are both saying the same thing, it 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 sounds logically the same, but using my heart center to feel these two people's intentions and quality of their energy, I can kind of intuitively tell that this person right here is bluffing. This person right here has some kind of ulterior motives that will result in this person's own self gain and self interest, right? Which may which may inevitably cause some harm on my end, right? It's not a win-win solution. But this other person feels a little bit more genuine, right? This person feels like his words and his body language, and intuitively I can sense that this person has certain level of integrity. So I trust this person more than this other person, and then I make the right discernment, and then I choose this other person and their services or whatever it may be. I'm just giving an example. I would choose this person over this other person. And so discernment and using our intuition and following and listening to our heart center actually saves us a lot of time and heartbreak and scandals. It saves us a lot of saves us from a lot of all these things, all these negative repercussions and harm that comes our way, right? So increasingly we have to learn discernment by using our heart center, right? And for on our own end, we have to work on ourselves as well, right? Because just because you don't do anything bad that can be seen by people, in this materialistic world, just because you don't steal just because you don't punch another person physically and whatnot. Our intention for the things that we do, the thoughts that we keep replaying in our heads, the emotional state that we are in, it is laid bare for all to see, especially the ones who are more intuitively inclined, or who have, a higher level of consciousness, a higher level of perceptional awareness, right? These people can see through our bullshit easy, piece of cake. Okay, so whatever your intentions are, your emotional states, the thoughts that you have when you interact with people, they the sensitive ones, they are able to tell. So who are you really lying to, actually? Most importantly, you're lying to yourself if you're not following certain higher levels of principles. And if you're not there yet, there's really no need to feel shameful or guilty for not being at the level that you wish to be yet, right? Everyone goes through this kind of going up, this kind of ascension towards higher principles, higher levels of consciousness. Everyone has to go through that, because if you don't, then how do you know? How would you know for sure that how can you distinguish between good and bad if you have never experienced the bad? How would you appreciate the riches of life if you have never been broke? Right? Each one of us have our own journey in life. We are here for a certain period of time. Make use of that, right? Follow your intuitive guidance, and everything will work out fine, right? On the material, on the external side of things, things may be falling apart, but you don't know. You don't know, the energies and the guiding presence around you that is, you know, orchestrating everything behind the scenes. Just because we can't see it, just because we can't measure, doesn't mean it's not there. Just like you can't see, air. You can't see Wi-Fi, but Wi-Fi is all around us. That frequency, that energy is all around us. We use internet every single day, but can you see? We can measure with specific tools, right? But can you see? Just because you can't see Wi-Fi doesn't mean the Wi-Fi is not working, doesn't mean the Wi-Fi is not around us, doesn't mean communication is not taking place, using the carrier waves of these Wi-Fi and electromagnetic fields. So similarly, your thoughts and your intentions and your emotional state, you're literally sending out waves and packets of electromagnetic information out into this ether, this soup, this interconnected soup that connects everything. This is not space, this is a soup. We are like fishes in the sea that can't see the water that we are swimming in, but when a whale kind of shrieks or makes a sound, a vibrational tone, or like a submarine, sending out echolocational pings to detect, different things. Just like the whales and the submarines, they send out waves of energy and frequency and vibration that can be felt by fishes and whatnot, by submarines or whatever, like thousands of miles away. Right? They can sense that because the carrier medium is the waves, the water that they are residing in, but they can't see the water. So similarly, us humans, we cannot see the space that is drowning, that we are living in, essentially. Some people call it the ether, Aether, or something like that. I can't really. Or some people spell it as ether, Ether, something like that. I can't I can't be bothered with the specifics. But this ether, this soup of medium that we are living in, energetic medium that we are living in, carries our vibrations universally, right? The human body, the human mind, the human spirit, the human spine, all of it is made perfectly so that we receive, you know, information that is coming from the ether, from somewhere else, from some people, from our guardian angels and spirits and higher self. We are always receiving it. That's why some people get, if you're sensitive enough, right? You have to, you know, discern the informational packets, the information that's coming to you, and the stuff that you're receiving. You have to learn. You have to, you know how to learn this power. It is all innate within all of us. We just have to remember. We just have to put in a little bit effort to consciously want to basically surrender to the forces of nature that is guiding our human evolution. Okay, and you know, watch your thoughts. Where are these thoughts coming from? Okay, how can I tweak them little by little, you know, to make them more wholesome, of a higher quality, so that what I send out into the ether, you know, the ether will mirror back to us situations and people and experiences and whatnot, so that it reflects back to us, so that we can learn. It is not about punishment. The universe did not create life so that we get punished with suffering and death and disease and discomfort and all that. It is not about punishment. It has never been about heaven and hell. You know, humans like to distort things that are said in the Bibles, in the Qurans, in the holistic scriptures, in the, you know, ancient scriptures. It is all mankind's doing for you know, distorting the meaning, the deeper true meaning of it. And I don't, you know, you can't blame them as well, because different people on different levels of consciousness, they perceive the world, the scriptures in a different manner, right? A certain object can be perceived differently by different people. They may see the same object differently, right? They may perceive it in a different light. So raise your vibrations, level of consciousness. You know, ChatGPT, you can search it up, like, you know, books to read. There's this author that I really like. I think it's Dr. David Hawkins. Yeah, Ascension to Levels of Consciousness. That's a good book. And Power versus Force, that also explains different levels of consciousness. It is a way to kind of like structure our understanding around this level of consciousness thing. Of course, all truths are but half truths. Not everything is always, you know, nothing and nothing, what's the word? Nothing will ever be able to contain all the truth of life except for within ourselves. What we read externally are just something to remind us, are just guiding us and pointing towards who we are as a person. Right? It's all fragmented in a sense. Nothing externally will be able to help you to remember your own inner essence of your soul. Your soul knows no limitations of knowledge and wisdom and all of that. We just have to learn how to tap into that. We just have to get a little bit of momentum from outside sources, like videos like mine. You know, if it helps you, then, you know, my videos are not meant to give you answers. My videos and a lot of all these great books written on this kind of consciousness and spirituality, they are just guides. You have to walk your own path. You have to find out what works for you at this particular moment, and then Live your life with courage. That's all I can say. Live your life with full courage. Feel all the emotions, even though you can't physically measure them. They are real. Feel those emotions as they come along. The good and the bad does not matter. You feel those emotions, and nothing lasts forever. Things change just like the seasons. Okay, hope this video helped you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.